Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, industry professional, thank you very much for joining and your continued support of this particular platform that celebrates you, Industrial Talk. Because you're bold, brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you do everything that just makes the world a better place. That's why we celebrate you on Industrial Talk. There's always a home here for you. You need to go out to industrialtalk.com and reach out. Amplify your message. Do something. You need to succeed. That's what we're here for. We have a great conversation. Industry 4.0, we've heard about it. And they're already talking about 5.0. But the key here is adoption and being able to do it in a way that's efficient and makes sense. We're talking to Javier Garcia Lopez. i4Tech is the company. We're talking about their solution called Activa Suite. Let's get going with the conversation. So I go around to a lot of events, broadcast on site. You might have known that. And a part of that broadcasting, we definitely talk about that ability to be able to leverage Industry 4.0, pull that data in, analyze that data, make tactical decisions. But much of the Industry 4.0, IoT, IIoT, data analytics, that type of stuff, a lot was promised and sort of under-delivered. We need solutions that help you achieve and those dreams of being able to do that effectively so that you can succeed. Javier, right here. i4Tech. So it's a good conversation. Paper and pencil. All right, speaking of IoT, I'm going to be in Barcelona. And you need to be in Barcelona. And the reason you need to be in Barcelona, this is in May, because it's a collection of individuals that truly have a desire to solve your challenges. So if I go out to IoT Solutions World Congress, and it pops up this, and it's also the Barcelona cybersecurity, which is important. You got connected assets. You need to make sure that they're protected. This is May 13th through the 15th. This is IoT Solutions World Congress. I've been going there for a number of years, and I have to say it's right there at the top of my, I don't know, just enjoyment. They do such a great job. Fera Barcelona is the organization. They do such a great job at putting on this event. And, of course, the individuals that do attend, definitely at the top of their game. So go out to Industrial Talk. You can click on it or just go to IoTSolutionsWorldCongress.com and find out more. It's all there, May 13th through the 15th. Also, if you have a message, you have a podcast. If you have a podcast, hear me out. Put it out on Industrial Talk. It's here for you. This platform is here for you. We need for you and your podcast to get the attention it so deserves. We can help you. We know what to do. We've done it many times. So if you have it, it's important that you put it out on Industrial Talk. If you have technology that you're saying, Scott, I just need people to be aware of what we're doing, contact me, industrialtalk.com. It's easy peasy. Just do that. And I'm here to have a conversation to be able to help you get that message out and amplify it. And you're saying to yourself, Scott, I don't have any of that. I just need to amplify my voice. Again, all roads lead to Industrial Talk. That's me. Contact me. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can work together and be able to have you succeed in what you're doing. There. See how easy that was? Yeah. I hope you take advantage of it, because I would love to be able to have this conversation with you and be able to help you succeed, because it's happening, whether you like it or not. This train is a bullet train, and it's left the station, and you need to be on it. All right, on to the conversation. Javier Garcia Lopez. The company's i4Tech. We'll have all that contact information out on Industrial Talk, so when you say, God, that is great stuff, I want to be able to connect, you'll be able to connect, and you'll be able to reach out. He knows what he's talking about. Talk about street cred. So let's get going with the conversation. Enjoy. Javier, welcome to Industrial Talk. How are you doing today? It's not even day. It's evening there.
It's actually evening here. Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. I'm good. Hope you're doing well.
What time is it there?
It's exactly 9:30 p.m. in Bangkok. Don't feel too guilty. We're used to it. It's okay.
I was just going to say, in Bangkok. Before we get into the company overview of i4Tech, which is an intro, and all of the wonderful things that you guys are doing, give us a little background on who Javier is.
Okay, so Javier, myself, I'm originally from Madrid, Spain, but that was many years ago, 2007, that I left my country. I'm an engineer by education. I spent some time in the UK where I did my master's. I lived different parts of Europe. I lived in Belgium for a while. Then I almost by accident, I got not hired, but I was working for a company in Belgium that was acquired by Siemens, and then things accelerated massively. I ended up getting a job offer in Singapore. 2015, I landed in Singapore, and I've been around in Southeast Asia since. Moved around jobs here and there, and we ended up founding i4Tech in 2020, right in the middle of COVID.
I like that. That's a fascinating journey, quite frankly.
Well, I explained it very fast, but trust me, a lot of things happen in between. It's been a ride. It's been a ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet it has. And how long you been in Bangkok?
Bangkok, exactly 4 years. A little bit over 4 years since I managed to escape Singapore during the lockdown. We had our first customer in Bangkok, so I just took my luggage, went through all this quarantine process that was quite tedious at the time, and landed in Bangkok November 2020, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. That's on my bucket list. I want to go to Bangkok.
Well, let me know.
Food
let
good?
Me know. I show you around.
Yeah, food is good.
Food is really good. A bit too good. If you like spicy, of course.
Oh yeah.
People are nice. It's like a very, very long summer. I mean, I have the feeling I had a 10-year long summer since I landed in Asia.
It's
a great place to be, for sure.
Very good. All right, take us through a little bit about i4Tech. What's that company all about?
All right, so i4Tech, as I told you, I was working for some of the big guys in the past. I landed in Southeast Asia, and I've been in charge of this region for a few years. And at that time, just before i4Tech, I was working for another well-known company called Rockwell Automation, and my role was actually to execute digitalization projects, to sell the platforms, to actually deploy projects, to make sure that we could help the manufacturing companies in the region adopt Industry 4.0. And I had a bit of a frustration in the sense that we had an amazing story to tell, but there was no people in Southeast Asia that had the focus, the capability, the domain knowledge, the customer centricity also to support certain countries in this region, So I saw it was a frustration, but I also saw it as an opportunity. So I decided to, why not do it myself? I was trying to find partners to execute projects, and I could find either traditional automation companies that didn't really understand the software space, or traditional IT or software houses that didn't really understand manufacturing. So I decided to start a new business from scratch. Started as a bit of an adventure. I co-founded with a friend of mine that had been in Asia even longer than me. He was in China for 20 plus years. And we started to do small things, small projects. We have been doing system integration work for different brands for the last 4 years. And we are at the point where we carry different brands. We have, I would say, a very decent install base in different countries in the region. We start to develop, I wouldn't say product, but yes, our own repeatable solutions translated into a product. We gave it a name called Activa Suite. It's an ISV program we have with some local vendors. And our focus is the same it was when we were born. That was really accelerate Industry 4.0 in Southeast Asia, occupy a space that was a little bit empty, and become hopefully soon the reference in Southeast Asia for this type of projects.
The Southeast, that's an interesting market because there's a lot of manufacturing that happens in that area. Absolutely. Are they amenable to the technology, the innovation that exists out there that will help the manufacturers be more efficient?
Absolutely. The amount of energy in this region is unstoppable. Obviously we have China. This is a world in itself, but this is becoming the factory of the world. Especially after COVID, a lot of companies are diversifying from China, and many of those factories are actually coming here. It's very business friendly. Some parts of the region are very business friendly. We're kind of in a neutral situation for some situations where it makes it easy to just be here. We don't get affected by certain geopolitical factors. People are hungry. You would be surprised by the amount of technical knowledge that you would find in countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. There's really no exception. Young population, really eager to do things. And Industry 4.0 was born as a German term, right? Because they had to compete with cheaper labor in other parts of the world, but it's no longer the case. It's something that is happening no matter what. People see the benefits. When I landed here, you still have to explain to some people what Industry 4 was about. But right now in this region, it's no longer a question of whether that's going to happen, but it's more a question of how you're going to do it, who's going to be your partner, what platform you're going to choose, and so on. But it is unstoppable, and it is a great place to be for business, to be fair.
Wow, that's really interesting. And now the education, they understand what Industry 4.0 is. They understand the necessity for collecting data, getting that insights, and being able to make tactical decisions based off of the data. How does your platform Activa Suite sort of fit into that whole model?
Yeah, so the first thing we wanted to help customers with was breaking the barrier to entry. So MES projects traditionally have been seen as very expensive, risky, tedious, full commitment type of engagements. So that's why traditionally it's been only the big guys doing those projects, because they already had some sort of control of the manufacturing space from the 3.0 times, so to say. And the first thing I think we tried and we managed successfully is to find a good trade-off between point solutions and scalability. So back in the times, either you embark on a $3-4 million project that would take you a year or two to deploy with massive risks, or people were investing in small point solutions, say for some OEE or quality control, that were doing the job as a point solution, but they were not really scalable or composable across the space of the factory. We managed to change that a little bit, and our objective has been to do things in a composable way, to really think big but start small. So you don't have to commit on a $3 million project. You can start solving a specific problem or a specific use case, but making sure that the way we organize the data, the way we collect the data, the way we use this data to build applications is reusable, is composable, is scalable, and it can take you far towards those $3 million projects that people used to do, but in a stepped on and in a more phased way. That's a little bit, I think, what we achieved and that we keep advocating in the region.
So when we start talking about point solutions, let's say I'm a manufacturer, I have my point solutions. I'm new to this industry of collecting data and being able to draw some insights from that gold. How do you approach a company that is interested in, I have these, how does your solution help facilitate? Is it difficult? Help us understand a little bit more about it.
The first thing we do, I've always said it's very difficult to sell this stuff, but sometimes I realize, and I have a lot of empathy with my customers, because it's even more difficult to buy it or to decide what to buy. So there is a lot of noise out there. There is a lot of buzzwords. People are confused, and there are different approaches. Some people start getting attracted by the technology and they want to explore a million things, and they enter this, even go to the pilot phase, and they enter this pilot purgatory where They do a pilot that seems successful, but then they don't manage to translate this into an actual business benefit. The thing we really try to simplify for customers is just forget about the technology. Just tell me what you're trying to solve. And we start from the top. We start from the business value, what problem you have. If you were the CEO of your company, or you were the plant manager, or you were the quality director, or you were the logistics director, when you wake up in the morning, what keeps you up? What do you worry about when you go to work? What is the problem you're trying to solve? And based on that, we define the use case. And then based on the use case, we look at the existing technology landscape. And once we understand where we really want to go, how we're going to do it, then we go down to look at what is the data that we need to acquire. And we make sure that there is a certain level of structure and organization in that data to make sure that is reusable, and that we start building what some people call the unified namespace, to make sure that whatever we enable, whatever machines we connect, or whatever data we acquire and put on the cloud or on the premise systems is actually a part of a contextualized data model that can be used for the next 4, 5, 10, 20 applications that we're going to build for them.
How do you deal with change management? That sounds fine. How do you sustain that? How do you deal with change management?
If I was a bigger company, I would tell you I would choose my customers, because not everybody is ready for change management. We are a lot more humble than that. We're growing, we're expanding, we are learning also ourselves from our customers and vendors and from our own experience. So sometimes I would tell you, just with humility and patience, as I tell you, sometimes I feel for customers, because it is hard, and it also depends on which part of the world you are working. Yeah. I'm sure you go to the US, you will have a lot of initiative from the shop floor. You will have operators with million ideas that want to do things on their own, and you might want to empower those. I think in Southeast Asia, at least in my experience, there is a problem of governance. So the way we can help, and we try to help, is anytime we do a workshop, anytime we show a demo on our platform, we try to make it very comprehensive, and we try to keep all the super technical terms out of the picture and try to speak the business language. We cannot say it enough. We really try to involve the users, the business users, in the conversation very early. It has happened to us that we were dragged by visionary managers, VPs that had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do, and when it came down to testing, it was very difficult to get people to adopt the solution. So involve people early, be clear, don't use too many fancy words, don't get too technical, speak their language, and make sure, there is those books out there that tell you that every decision in the enterprise software world is taken by an average of 5.7 people or something like that. Make sure you get at least 5 or 6 of those people or departments in the room early enough, because otherwise you make it a lot of time burned and some ugly surprises at the end of the road.
Yeah. I've been around torpedoes, so if you don't include, you're getting some torpedoes, and you don't want that.
You need some torpedoes sometimes, So it's not black or white. You do need those people that drive and make things happen. Otherwise you have a bunch of people in a room waiting for somebody else to tell them what to do, and that's also not nice. So I mean, that is the beauty of this business. You need to understand how to make the best of its person in the room, and how to find the consensus to make things happen for the company as a whole and be successful.
I can't help but think about the challenges that exist with just cultural differences with here's Thailand, and then here's another country, and they approach just business differently, and they think differently. Is your company nimble enough to be able to sort of say, oh yeah, we're here, we need to do it this way, or we need to communicate that way, or whatever?
Yeah, but don't get fooled by my face. I mean, I've been here for 10 years. We're Asian. We are a Singapore-based company. Our headquarters are in Singapore. We have a second legal entity in Thailand. My Vietnamese customers are supported in Vietnamese. My Thai customers are supported in Thai. Singapore is great because you can speak English, so we can interact a lot more internationally. Everybody speaks English in the region, but you do need to localize. And I think one of the things we have done very, very well is to understand that since day one. And my founder and I were both Spanish, but we've been here long enough to understand that this is their region. And actually, one of the things I enjoy the most is to cultivate a team in the region, in the different countries, and see them grow, see them learn, see them adopt the best practices of what we may bring as foreigners or the engineering background that we have, but also make sure that they do it their own way. I don't really have a lot of customer meetings anymore in Thailand, for example. My Thai team can handle. The same happens in Vietnam. We're trying to enter Indonesia now, and I'm already looking for Indonesian people to hire and expand. And that is the only way, There used to be this misunderstanding that, and it used to happen, management positions in the region were all Western people that were coming here and telling people what to do, and it's no longer the case. This is happening. This is real. The growth is there. The talent is local, and the best thing we can do as business owners is to cultivate that and to make it grow. That's very clear.
Now, you briefly mentioned, let's say I want to kick the tires, right? I'm a manufacturer. I see the necessity of being able to begin the process, but I don't want the three. How quickly can you get me up and running? I know it depends on the challenge that I communicate. So what's a typical timeline for me to start, extracting value?
So I can give you clear examples. We encountered customer cases where they were very clear they needed to digitalize the quality inspection process, for example. And it took us, honestly, that's the beauty of using some of the low-code solutions that we've been using, like Mendix. It took us 6 to 8 weeks to make that happen, to go live. The beauty of that is that app was immediately followed by an efficiency monitoring app. It was an OEE calculation, but not really full OEE. It was a bit of an efficiency monitoring app. We ended up doing energy management for them. We ended up digitalizing end-of-line testing. And those projects were all 6 to 8 weeks. So we can start very quickly and very fast if the objectives are clear, the platforms are right, and the people are in the right place.
And you provide the support that is necessary after the fact, because I'm sure that that's 6 to 8 weeks. That's great. Yeah. I understand the challenges that you have communicated. We have the solution here, but I want to be able to sustain that, and I want to be able to address maybe some of the challenges that happen after the fact. Are you on the ground and being able to do that as well?
Yeah, that's why we're here. The thing is, there is always, to be honest, I'm also thinking myself how to make these support contracts a little bit more value-driven. Customers get tired of just paying for support and logging a ticket every now and then. To be honest, some of these solutions, specifically that example I tell you about, there was very little support needed. The solution was I was even surprised myself, incredibly stable and robust. There's been enhancements, and what we have observed is that once you do one of those projects, the next one comes, and the next one comes, and the next one comes. Yes, you need the support system in place. For that, we're kind of utilizing resources in a smart way. So we have people in Vietnam, we have people in India. We also have employees in India remotely. We have some partners that help us with some extra work. You do need the people there. Typically, you end up signing yearly contracts for support, especially because they are mission critical systems and you cannot not have it. But to be fair, I'm also thinking about how, everybody is talking, and now we're talking to investors, to raise capital and so on. And everybody's asking you, what is your ARR? What is your recurring revenue and so on? Yeah. We do have some recurring revenue from licenses we resell from main vendors. We start to do our recurring revenue with our ISV program that with this Activa Suite platform that we brought to life with some of those applications. I can tell you in a minute if you want. But I'm also thinking how I can actually have those recurring contracts with customers in a way that actually I can commit to further development work in a bit of an agile way where the customer knows that we're there for them. The customer knows that we can keep developing solutions for them or new features or new enhancements and build that continuous delivery of value with customers so that maybe I don't know exactly what the solution is going to look like in the next 12 months, but I know that these guys can make it, and I know that I will want them to evaluate it, to do workshops, to keep developing. And this is a model that is not clear because, unfortunately, customers still have a CapEx mindset, and then they can easily give you an OPEX and they consider that support and they don't care too much about it because it has to be there, but they don't really evaluate it that much. What I'm trying to do also is to create a differentiator, to have those recurring contracts be more valuable for customers and making sure that they can get more for the money they're going to pay anyway as an OPEX.
Because you have the fingers on the pulse of industry and manufacturing, you're in the trenches. What do you see from a future perspective of what's impacting manufacturing from a technology perspective?
Well, it sounds like a cliche, and I hate it, but artificial intelligence, AI, and it's interesting because it's becoming a lot easier to convince people about the initial phases of a digitalization journey. The ROI or the benefits of connecting production lines, creating a data backbone, when you have to explain to them that was important for MES functions, for efficiency monitoring, and so on. That was a journey. That was something that still requires some explanation. But now everybody wants to do AI, and it became in the last year much easier to convince people about starting the journey because now they have a very clear idea of where they want to go. So at the end of the day, there is a lot of confusion about AI, I think. Machine learning has been around for so many years. This is 1970s mathematics, right? And it still falls within the AI spectrum of solutions, right? Generative AI has given that extra push that became very visible to everybody, and it has come to industry, of course, and it has made people a lot more interested in it. But there's a lot of things that were already available for the last 10, 20 years that are now also sold as AI, and finally people show interest in this, and it's also facilitating the previous steps that are required, that is digitalizing your business, connecting your machines, throwing paper away, and having a proper UNS or data backbone that allows you to do all those things. So I would say, unfortunately, I hate to be a Me Too type of person, but it is what it is. It's true.
It is. I agree with you 100%. I agree with that assessment. What I do find is that there's hype out there. I've got to figure out what AI can do for me from a business perspective. And that to me just sort of smacks of finding the right individual or right company to help me along with the journey, because everybody's hanging their AI shingles out and they're saying, look at us, we're doing it. We're making it happen.
Yeah. To give you an example, in a couple of weeks, we are giving a seminar in Bangkok that is implementing AI solutions for manufacturing. We have a collaboration with a university in Italy. Good friend of mine, a good old friend that became a professor after 10 plus years in the industry, is signing a partnership with us where we have access to some PhD students and academic knowledge to make this available to our customers in Asia. And he's flying to Bangkok, and we're going to give a half-a-day seminar. Typically, he teaches this in Imperial College London for X amount of money people pay to see him. We just organize a free of charge seminar of half a day to bring this knowledge to our customers in Asia. And 50% of the seminar is machine learning. Is building machine learning models to create digital twins that model energy consumption or yield in chemical processes or predict quality batch by batch. And that's nothing new. But suddenly everybody wants to see it because it's AI. The second half of the seminar is generative AI, and we have built a predictive maintenance model that uses a copilot or some sort of a chatbot to answer your questions. So it is the new stuff, but there is sometimes a little bit of marketing around those things that doesn't play in our advantage because it confuses people. Our mission is to be down to earth, to be realistic, to be pragmatic, to again start with the business problem and the solution. But we need to live in a world that is full of noise, and sometimes we don't have.
It's noisy out there. You're absolutely spot on. It is. It's super noisy, and I know that a confused mind doesn't make a decision, and there's a lot of confusion out there. But I'm optimistic for the future because I think that I've been a part of many conversations in the past number of years, and I've seen the evolution of what's taking place, and it's exciting. I wish I was younger and being able to sort of do all of this. This is fantastic stuff. Javier, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, Itchy. I have a very common Spanish name. Javier Garcia Lopez is like the John Smith of Spanish names, but you can just find me on LinkedIn as probably Javier Garcia i4Tech. You'll easily find me. If you just Google our website, i4Tech, just hit on the info button, and at some point it will reach me. But I would say LinkedIn is the easiest way.
Yeah.
Through our i4Tech page or my personal page. That's straightforward.
Well, you were fantastic. Love the conversation. Thank you very much for hanging out. And it's late at night for you. And
not a problem.
All right, listeners, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Don't fear not. You're going to have all the contact information for Javier out on Industrial Talk. And for a point of clarification, the website, if I may, and correct me if I'm wrong, Javier, it's i4-tech.io. So we're going to have that. We're going to have that URL out there on Industrial Talk too. Thank you, Javier.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Scott. That was fun.
All right, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Javier Garcia Lopez, the company i4Tech, they're making Industry 4.0 approachable. Yeah, there you go. Making it approachable. He wants you to succeed. The team there wants you to succeed in your IoT, IIoT endeavors. So check them out. All the contact information will be out on Industrial Talk. You'll just go to the podcast. There's the LinkedIn stat card right there. Click on it, reach out, have a conversation or two. Have a couple of conversations. You won't be disappointed. Again, Industrial Talk is here for you. Please reach out to me. Let's amplify your voice. Let's get your podcasts on a platform that people can listen to. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Javier. Change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly. So, as always, stay tuned.